Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Williamson of the Modern Wisdom podcast. Today, I sat down with Ryan Holiday of Daily Stoic, and we discussed the power of discipline and consistency and how some of the great historical figures developed these skills to become truly astonishing human beings. Our conversation was 1.5 hours long, but I made this condensed version using PodFast, a tool that distills your favorite podcasts and shows into short, animated summaries by harnessing the power of AI. I highly recommend you check it out. Now let's jump into our conversation with Ryan Holiday. Every successful person knows the importance of having clarity and direction in life. If you don't have a clear sense of what is important to you, what kind of work you want to do, and what you want your life to look like, you may end up following what pays the most or what others are doing. This can lead you far away from what you truly desire. In the real world, it's like being in a boat without knowing where you want to go. You'll just go with the flow and end up wherever the wind takes you. But to reach your desired port, you need to know the destination and set a course. Discipline plays a crucial role in achieving success. You need to consistently work hard, stay focused, and make wise decisions. In hiring someone or looking for a mentee, it's not just about talent or skills. The first test is whether that person has their life together or not. So it's not just about getting better at our craft, but also about being sane and making sound decisions. However, success can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes you can achieve success overnight thanks to the internet and social media algorithms, but sustaining that success requires discipline and hard work. Many people fail because they make bad decisions, become egotistical, or become complacent after initial success. It's like winning a race, but then tripping and falling at the finish line. Playing the long game is essential. The fire of potential and ambition burns hot and bright, but you need to figure out how to make it sustainable and not let it consume you. You need to care deeply, but not let it become a liability. And most importantly, you need to consistently work hard and not slack off when success comes your way. Charlie Munger's quote about consistency not being stupid rather than trying to be very intelligent rings true. It's about not blowing up the opportunities that come your way and making sure you don't make unnecessary mistakes. It's like having a bank account that you pay into every day to build your future. Success can also sometimes come from being in the right place at the right time. But it's crucial to have something unique, a core thing that sets you apart. Having a clear direction and unique point of view can help you succeed in different platforms and mediums. The outcome you're striving for directs your discipline and determines what success looks like for you. Being disciplined before success arrives is challenging, as there may not be immediate rewards or recognition. It's easier to stay focused and say no to distractions when there's less volume and lower stakes. However, discipline is always difficult, and you must learn to enjoy the process itself. The rewards might not be what you expect, and if your only motivation for being disciplined is the end result, it can lead to disappointment. There's also a difference between doing the work and the external rewards that come with it. In writing, for example, there's the act of writing itself, and then there's the publishing process. Ryan emphasizes that the love for the craft should be the driving force, and the rewards should be secondary. It's also important to outsource tasks that are not essential, so you have more time to focus on the core aspects of your craft. However, Ryan cautions against outsourcing too much, as it can lead to a loss of authenticity and passion. Finding the balance between delegation and maintaining control is crucial. Ryan shares an anecdote about Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife, Coretta Scott King, and how Harry Belafonte encouraged her to get help with running their organization. It highlights the need for leaders to delegate and build systems around themselves, so they can focus on the critical aspects of their work. We touch on the fear and perfectionism that can hold people back from relinquishing control. We discuss how the obsession with being in control can prevent growth and progress. Ryan gave me the example of a club night they ran where they were unwilling to let others handle certain tasks out of fear that things would go wrong. Being the Stoic that he is, Ryan shared a story about the great Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. In the story of Marcus Aurelius and his son Commodus, we see a contrast between a great emperor and a terrible one. Marcus Aurelius was a disciplined and wise ruler who believed in sharing power and checking his own authority. He wanted to set up a system where his sons could rule alongside each other, but unfortunately, all his other sons died, and Commodus became the sole heir. We can only speculate on what went wrong with Commodus, but it raises questions about the effectiveness of even the most disciplined individuals in passing on their values to their children. Discipline is a virtue that is hard to maintain, especially when you have the privilege and power to get away with not being disciplined. It's like the difference between working hard to achieve success and then needing to restrict your options and say no to distractions as you progress. The same applies to figures like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who filter their decisions through a central principle or goal. Having a clear purpose or direction helps you make choices and prioritize what's important. Without knowing where you want to go, you can't judge which decisions are right or wrong. Discipline is not just about self-control, but also about balancing multiple aspects of life. For example, Ryan emphasizes being a great writer, husband, and father. These three areas are related but also in tension with each other. You have to make choices, trade-offs, and sacrifices to maintain that balance. We can't have it all, and knowing what's truly important to us helps us make decisions that align with our values. In the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, discipline is seen as a battle between the higher self, virtue, and the lower self, vice. It's a constant struggle to choose the path of virtue over the easy way out. This choice requires strength of will and a commitment to making the right decisions. Discipline should not be viewed as self-punishment, but rather as a motivating factor and a form of self-love. It should be a supportive practice that helps us grow and improve rather than making us feel guilty or terrible about ourselves. It is about making beautiful or great choices consistently, more often than not. Ryan compares two types of athletes, one who gives their all and sacrifices everything else for their sport, and another who seeks balance in their life. We mentioned Michael Jordan as an example of someone who was highly dedicated to their craft, but may have sacrificed other aspects of their life. Ryan questions whether it is possible to achieve extreme results while still maintaining balance. We go on to discuss the idea that it is easier to be great at one thing than to be good at many things. We argue that people often believe their success or talent exempts them from the rules of human behavior and morality. Ryan shared a story about a writer who prioritized keeping a promise to her babysitter over staying at a famous party, demonstrating the importance of integrity and keeping one's word. Ryan emphasizes the value of cultivating a well-rounded set of standards and being good neighbors, citizens, and family members, in addition to achieving professional success. They caution against focusing solely on one area of life at the expense of others, as in the end, these achievements cannot be taken with us. We talked about Queen Elizabeth as a remarkable example of discipline. Ryan highlighted her self-control, restraint, dignity, tradition, flexibility, and innovation throughout her 70-year reign. We also drew a distinction between discipline as a masculine physical attribute and the kind of discipline Queen Elizabeth embodies, which is more spiritual, emotional, and mental. We also talk about Martin Luther King Jr. and his commitment to non-violence. Ryan mentions an incident where he was attacked by a Nazi on stage but chose not to retaliate. This act showed a higher level of discipline and spiritual strength, as he allowed himself to be attacked for the sake of his principles. This level of discipline and non-violence can be compared to the achievements of Olympic gold medalists or athletes with physical strength. I'm Chris Williamson, the host of Modern Wisdom, and I'd like to thank you for listening to this PodFast summary of my conversation with Ryan Holiday, the host of Daily Stoic. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And remember, wisdom is meant to be shared, just like a good book or an engaging podcast. See you next time.